What's going on YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the God Next podcast. I'm your co-host Donovan Moore, and of course we got my dog, my man Mitchell Baldwin right down here with us.
Yes, sir.
And come on now, still football season. We still in the heat of the playoffs. So who else than the man, the myth, the legend, and the 25th birthday boy, Bennet Bones Nadash, back with us again. What's going on, B?
Man, that was a great birthday weekend of football, man. I think we're about to, talk about how this was probably the best playoff weekend we've ever seen. Monday morning, I've never heard from so many people. Man, that was the greatest weekend of games I've ever seen. I mean, you only heard that about 1,000 times from individuals, man. It was insane.
Definitely. So this week we coming at y'all with a slight recap of the divisional round, but we're looking forward to the NFC Championship, and we're gonna come back at y'all with that great content. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and you know the rest. Enjoy the show.
You ready to play, boy?
Yo, turn it up, Sly. I can't hear nothing.
Before we get into the conference championship games, I'd like to take a quick moment to recap the divisional games, because how could you not after that weekend of football? I guess we'll start with our quick thoughts and of each game. So starting with the Bengals and Titans, man, my takeaway from that game is, I should have picked the Bengals to win. I knew that game was on upset radar. And I also kind of knew if the Titans were going to lose, it was going to be because Tannehill blew it. I said that in last week's podcast that if the Titans don't win this game, they aren't in the position to do this yet, but they need to seriously start considering a change at quarterback. Obviously, they're not going to get rid of Ryan Tannehill for someone just as good or worse. They need to find a star at quarterback or draft one. But I mean, that probably can't be done for another year. But I'm starting to think you can't win a championship with this guy. There was a little meme on Instagram and Snapchat and all over social media that showed Ryan Tannehill in the regular season versus Ryan Tannehill in the playoffs, and the right side was Ryan Tannehill in the playoffs, and was him in the Dolphins jersey. So I mean, I think most people get the joke right there. They're saying he reverts back to his old Miami play back when they in January when they're in the playoffs. I mean, this man, I think they're 2-3 in the playoffs with Vrabel and Tannehill now, and 2 of the losses are at home. The Titans just can't win playoff games at home, and there's some dogs in the AFC. You saw the Chiefs-Bills game, which we'll get to later, but I don't see Tannehill playing like that in a game like that, and clearly that's what you need to represent the AFC. The best quarterbacks usually get the best seeds, and somehow the Titans got the number 1 seed this year, and they just did not play like one.
Yeah, but it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with Tannehill for sure. Let's go ahead and dive into these. Actually, we gotta do a recap of that Rams-Bucks game. But then
we'll do every game. I mean, Mitch, real quick, did you have any take on that game that's different from either of ours?
Nah, I basically said the same thing. The Tannehill's not really going to throw you into a game, and hopefully he won't throw you out of one. And
he threw him out of that one.
He threw them out of one, so expected that.
Yeah, I think his first pass was a pick. His first pass of the second half was a pick, and his last pass was a pick. So those are the 3 worst times to throw an interception. He sure as hell did it. It had to be in their playbook. Don't throw an interception on this play, and that play, and he sure as heck did it. So next game, the 49ers upset the Packers 13-10. I would just say, like I said, none of the games last week were mind-blowing if the underdog won, but that game seemed to be the one that had the heaviest favorite because Aaron Rodgers is going to get named MVP, and Jimmy Garoppolo in most people's minds was the worst quarterback remaining. It's probably Ryan Tannehill after this weekend, but the Niners defense did what the Niners defense did 2 years ago, and they playing so similar to the team that represented the NFC 2 years ago, and they won despite of I don't want to say despite their quarterback play, but despite the unfavorable matchup between the 2 quarterbacks, they stuck in it and they won it late at the end. Huge props to their special teams, and the Packers special teams just flat out blew. They had a blocked field goal, a blocked punt, and stuff like that in games like that will kill you. So that's why they're going home, and Aaron Rodgers is kind of getting looked at as just a regular season star. I mean, Mahomes already looks like a better playoff quarterback in his short career than Aaron Rodgers does. Y'all agree with that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, but he's 0-4 against the Niners in the playoffs, so the Niners probably don't feel too bad about skipping on him in the draft. Of course, I think they'd have a couple rings if they did pick him number 1 back in 2005, but I think they've gotten the better of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I just want to say a few things real quick, man. I think that just a lot of the talk that I've had today, a lot of NFL guys just upset about what happened. You know, it seems like a lot of people just can't accept that Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers just didn't have good weekends. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. You know, you're not always going to show up every time, but it does affect your legacy sometimes. So let's just go and let's talk about this for a second. Aaron Rodgers, right? He gets a home game. The 49ers have a short week as they just played the Cowboys. The Packers get a bye. You're at home in Lambeau Field. You're the 49ers had a few injuries on their side as well. Like, how many things can you have in your favor? Like, the 49ers are not used to playing in cold weather. Tell me the last time it snowed in California. So, like, you can't, like, I don't understand how people can make excuses for Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady after what just happened, bro. There's no way. If he scores 14 points in that game, they win the game. 14 points. That's all I need you to do. His defense held up. The defense holds the 49ers to 6 points. How do you not win that game, bro? I don't get it. So Aaron Rodgers just didn't come to play, and that's why they lost. I can't blame it on anything else. I mean, special teams actually didn't come to play either. But I mean, your defense did come to play, and I feel like they make that's a bigger factor in the game than special teams. So, like, I don't know, man. I think that they had everything that they had to win that game, that they needed to win that game. They just didn't.
Yeah, I think Colin Cowherd, even though, you know, most of the time he makes terrible points, he made one good point about Aaron Rodgers, and that point was, you notice how Aaron Rodgers is always like the bottom of the league in interceptions. All his league MVPs besides, I think, 2011, he didn't lead the league in yards or touchdowns, but he was always like bottom of the league in interceptions, and his quarterback rating is great. And part of Colin, what he said was that he felt like Aaron Rodgers, you know, cares so much about his own individual performance that, you know, he's almost to the point where he doesn't like to even risk throwing interceptions, which, you know, you got to risk it to get the biscuit sometimes. And, like, you know, Aaron Rodgers is in the championship game most years, but that's it. Like, he's only been to one Super Bowl, won it. But, you know, someone of his stature should definitely have played in more than one Super Bowl. Mahomes has already played in 2. Brady's obviously played in 10 and won 7. You know, like, Aaron Rodgers he probably cares too much about his quarterback rating, his individual performance. I mean, clearly he's a me type guy. That's why he went on, you know, TV as much as he did this offseason and during the season to just, you know, insult the Packers and, you know, kind of praise himself without saying so. You know, I mean, it just doesn't look like it adds up to a winning formula in the playoffs.
And last thing I want to add, man, everybody keeps talking about this one championship that Aaron Rodgers had. That championship was 11 years ago. Let's just go back 11 years. Let's think about it. 11 years ago, LeBron James has 0 championships. 0. He has not one championship. R. Kelly is still at large in 2011. That is 11 years ago. There's no, I don't understand why we're still bringing up that dusty ring, bro. That ring got cobwebs, everything else on it, bro. It's been 11 years. You know how long 11? I was in the 6th grade 11 years ago, bro. I'm a grad student. You know what I'm saying? Like, dog, so much has changed since back then. Like, we can't keep bringing up that ring. That was 11 years ago, bro.
Yeah, it's definitely someone for his stature should have won 3 rings by now. But moving on to Sunday, speaking of someone who has won a lot of rings but won't win one this year, that man is Tom Brady, and that's because the Rams came on the road and beat them. And like I said, if you guys remember the podcast last week, I was this close to picking the Rams, man, and I really should have. But I just did not think Stafford was going to top Brady in a game like that. But they were up 27-3, and next thing you know, it's all tied up at 27. And it wasn't Stafford's fault, honestly. It was because everyone but Stafford started screwing up for the Rams. Like, I mean, not Aaron Donald either. Never is his fault. But Cam Akers fumbled twice. Cooper Kupp fumbled, and the center snapped the ball over Stafford's head. It's not the Bucs didn't even really dig deep to come back in that game. It was really more so the Rams skilled players on offense started shooting themselves in the foot and turning over the ball and giving the Bucs chance after chance. Their kicker Matt Gay, who's been like great all year, missed a 47-yard field goal short. Like, how does that happen in a playoff game? I'd heard he was hurt or something like that. But hey, despite it all, I give credit where credit is due to the Rams. They weren't the Falcons part 2. They didn't let Tom Brady sneak back up on them and win the game. Once the game finally got tied, they finally got their stuff together, and Cooper Kupp ran past the whole defense, caught a big pass, caught another big one, and now they're off to the NFC Championship. So, I mean, great win by the Rams. Definitely Sean McVay's most impressive win ever as a Rams coach. I mean, the top Brady is obviously not easy, and that was proven. And it's going to be interesting to see if they can beat the Niners because they got swept by them this year. They pretty much let the Niners into the playoffs. So we'll see how they handle that. But great coaching matchup between McVay and Shanahan in the championship game that we'll look forward to.
Any comments from you, Dono, on the game?
No, I'm ready to dive into these NFC and AFC championships. Man.
Heck yeah, we just got one.
That's for the Chiefs-Bills game.
Yeah, we got one more to recap. Probably the best game of the whole week. Maybe probably the best game of the whole entire year. I mean, I don't think anyone's got a different opinion from that. But that was just such a great game all around. Unless you like defense, obviously. But damn, the Bills took the lead with 13 seconds left. Most people, I even kind of thought it was over the moment that happened, like 13 seconds. And then you kind of realize the Chiefs still have 3 timeouts, and the Bills do a regular kickoff instead of a short kickoff or a squib kick. And it's like, really, all they need is like 2 good plays, and they'll be in field goal range. And of course, Hill and Kelsey, and the 2 guys who, you got to cover if you're the Bills, get catches, gets them in field goal range, and then what do you know? The Chiefs win the coin toss in overtime and win the game. Josh Allen doesn't even touch the football after he gives his team a 3-point lead with 13 seconds left. That had to be just gut-wrenching for Bills fans and Bills players, especially Josh Allen, who probably had the best day of his life, honestly. But it wasn't meant to be.
And something I want to touch on with that, I'm going to just be the one to say it here. As a new football fan, it was just recently a new football fan like a year or 2 ago. Got to change that overtime rule, man. I think it's about time that we look at that. And we might have to make some changes to that. I don't understand how the game ends up being decided over a coin toss instead of allowing both quarterbacks to be able to have a chance to win that game. I feel like it's a shootout at that point. Like this is probably Josh Allen's best game we've seen. I don't think that's
college rules. Get a team back to touchdown.
Yeah, for him to not get the ball back, you know what I'm saying? I think it's just frustrating, especially as for the NFL that's really trying to push offense and really trying to push everybody to get to the game and watch the game and the exciting parts of the game. That's one of the best games that we've seen, and I don't think it should ever be decided over a coin toss at that point. So, yeah, I definitely think that we should look at that rule. I don't really like the overtime rule, and yeah, I think it's something that should be changed in the future.
Agreed there. Well, with that being said, following the recap, let's talk about the 2 big games. It's down to 4 teams, man. We started with 32, now we're down to 4. And out of the 4 that I left, I can honestly say I only saw one of them certainly being a part of the 4 before the year started, possibly 2. But the Niners and the Bengals, man, I did not see that coming. But glad to see the Niners, kind of got back to the team that they were 2 years ago. Hey, think about it. Last year they were a 6-10 football team because 75% of their roster got depleted. So I guess they're really a good team when they're healthy. And, they should be 2 competitive games, even though I think, let's talk about the AFC Championship first. I think, the Chiefs, after winning that game, I think that was the opponent that was going to beat them if they were going to lose. I thought it was going to be to the Bills or maybe possibly the Titans on the road. Probably not, though, in the playoff game after we saw that. But anyway, I think, the Bengals would give them a good game. Obviously, they won that shootout against them late in the year in Cincinnati, but I don't see them doing it twice, especially in Kansas City. I think the Bengals' magic carpet ride ends here, but I do think they have a bright future. I just think, the Chiefs are that team that just consistently represents the AFC, and now with Tom Brady out of the conference, I think, that's the only guy Mahomes has lost to in the playoffs. So I think they capture another AFC championship on Sunday.
Yeah, the Bengals are going to be a force. The AFC as a whole, with all these exciting young quarterbacks that have in the whole conference, is going to be a crazy conference to watch as the years go by. But kudos to the Bengals on a great season. Jamar Chase, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Joe Burrow, most likely probably comeback player of the year. But the road ends here. Kansas City's winning that one. They're very tough to beat at home. Buffalo literally gave them the best punch that they received all season, and they still found a way to win. And I think Kansas City wants revenge for their loss to the Bengals earlier in the year as well. So I'm taking Kansas City to win this one.
Sorry if I don't already know this. I think I do know the answer that Patrick Mahomes does have a ring already.
Yep.
And now this is how many times he's made the AFC Championship?
This is his 4th? Yeah.
This would be 4 times in his short career. I think it's almost safe to say that he's going to be better than Aaron Rodgers at this point. They both have 1 ring, and I think that Patrick Mahomes is going to win more at this point. I mean, even with all the struggles they had this year, they still find a way to be in the Super Bowl. I'm just going to go ahead and say that they're going to make the Super Bowl here. I'm pretty confident in that pick. Joe Burrow and them are having a good season. I think they're about a year or 2 ahead of schedule right now. but a lot of potential there, obviously. I mean, they got to get their offensive line fixed up. And then once they do that, I think they'll be a much better team in the future. But they got some solid building pieces right now. You got Joe Burrow, you got Jamar Chase, you got Mixon. So, I mean, you got a solid team around them. But for them, if they win this game, that's going to be probably the biggest upset of the playoffs so far. But I don't see that happening, of course. So, yeah, man, Patrick Mahomes is just writing his name and just furthering his legacy right now, man.
Yeah.
Yes, with that being said, we got the NFC Championship 6:30 in SoFi Stadium. The 49ers are going back to the same stadium they played in 3 weeks ago to get into the playoffs. Now they're playing to get into the Super Bowl, which will be in the same stadium as well, SoFi Stadium. So this is the difference between, obviously, a California home state team is going to be playing a Super Bowl in their home state, but is it going to be the actual team who plays in that stadium, or is it going to be the team that dominates in that stadium? And I'm going to pick the Niners, honestly, because I don't think in McVay versus Shanahan's career, I don't think McVay's had an answer for Shanahan, especially when Garoppolo plays. I mean, I don't know what the reason for that is, but when Garoppolo starts for the 49ers, they are undefeated against the Rams. And I don't know why, because it always seems like, the Rams kind of have the more consistent ball club each regular season, except for the 1 year the Niners made the Super Bowl. But I don't know. It's hard to beat a team 3 times, that being considered too. But I just think the Niners just know how to play against the Rams, and I think they're just as tough as them, if not tougher. And I think their game plans, they use Jimmy Garoppolo in a way that he won't hurt you. They use Jimmy Garoppolo the way the Titans wish they used Ryan Tannehill. They don't let him kill him. They just let him do exactly what he does, which is check downs. He does exactly what the play call is before the play started, and he doesn't try to do extra in case something breaks down, and that's what they need. Obviously, Trent Williams is questionable for the game, and that's a big deal going up against Aaron Donald and the Rams, but he did not play in that Week 18 matchup against the Rams to get into the playoffs. So I think either way, I'm going with the Niners, man. I think, it's meant to be a Niners-Chiefs part 2, although I'd love to see the Rams-Chiefs play in the Super Bowl. I just think, it's the Niners. They were the team that was slept on all year, and they're going to prove it and go win the NFC Championship.
Yeah, I just feel like it's extremely hard to beat a team 3 times, regardless of sport, basketball, football, any sport. And I just feel like the Rams have literally put all their cards on the table for this year. They went all in for this year. They went and got OBJ. Well, he was a free agent, but they still made an effort to get him. They went and got Von Miller. They brought Eric Weddle out of retirement. He was somewhere on the beach or something. They went and got him. So the Rams are just putting everything on the table. And I just feel like sometimes things just feel like fate. I don't know why. I just feel like it's the Rams' fate to make the Super Bowl this year. Like they had their great start to the season. They declined a little bit. And I feel like OBJ finally get into a rhythm with the Rams as well. And then they got Cam Akers back. So the Rams got a lot of things going for them. Shout out to the Niners. They had a great run. Garoppolo might have bought himself a few more years with this QB job. Who knows? But I definitely like the Rams in this one.
Oh yeah, I'm also gonna rock with the Rams here. I just think that they're dual threat as far as their offense and their defense is just a lot to handle all at once. I feel like their defense is second to none, man. Aaron Donald, one of the best football players of all time already in his career. You got Jalen Ramsey, one of the best corners of all time. You got Von Miller, of course, still there. Of course, it's not the Von Miller we're thinking of, but it's Von Miller at the same time. Matt Stafford, Robert Woods, Odell Beckham, Cooper Kupp. Like, how many more people you need? We got Sony Michel for you. I mean, we got a lot of guys, and it's just crazy. It's too much. It's too much firepower, I think, for the 49ers. And I do like how consistent the 49ers are, though. I can definitely appreciate that. They kind of remind me of the Miami Heat. They already have their culture, but they don't really do anything too exceptional, but they're really good at what they're really good at. So I like that consistency with them, and that's how they made it so far. But I do think that it comes to an end this weekend.
Yeah.
So according to you guys, it's going to be a Chiefs-Rams Super Bowl, and the second year in a row the Chiefs are going to be playing the Super Bowl on the road. Because remember, last year Tampa Bay had the home Super Bowl, and this year Los Angeles has the home Super Bowl. So that's going to be interesting to see if the Chiefs can win a Super Bowl on the road. But I have it being Chiefs-Niners, a rematch of 2 years ago, which was a pretty good game until, kind of got away from the Niners. They blew a 10-point lead late in the game and couldn't come back. But I definitely do think the Rams stand a better chance against the Chiefs, but I just think the Niners know how to beat the Rams. So that's why I'm going a red on red for my Super Bowl matchup. It's gonna be interesting to see how it all pans out. It's been a great NFL season, boys, and I expect to see more greatness this week. We'll probably have a lot to talk about next week's episode.
Last thing I want to say. All right, Dono, do you want to say anything?
No. You good? Go ahead.
The word of the week this week is accountability. All right. I was the first one to come on here. I'm talking all stuff about Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. As soon as the Cowboys lost, I was the first person to come on here and say, look, Dak is not that guy. All right. Yeah. I'm an objective fan. I can come out here. I can like my team, but I can also be critical of my team. All right. I want other people to do the same. All right. Let's not act like Tom Brady didn't show up for one half and expected to win the game. All right. I'm trying to blame it on the defense. I'm sick of it. I'm so fed up with that, bro. Are you kidding me? Anyway, all right. So I think that's going to do it for this episode of the God Next podcast, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that type of stuff. And we'll catch y'all next week. We got some Super Bowl coverage to talk about next week. Hope you guys join us. Peace.